Well, welcome, floorball fans, to the North American Floorball League. It is almost time to continue the 2023 NAFL Troy Cup playoffs here. The second semifinal of the day between the Minnesota Growlers and the Fresno Force. Set to be a great matchup. We'll head down to the court now as the players prepare for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to please rise, remove your hats, and join us in the national anthem. Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang clear, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave.
And with that, floorball fans, we are one step closer to coming in here for the semifinal. Welcome to our broadcast. I'm your host, Tanner David. I'm joined here by American floorball star Case Connor.
Thanks for having me, Tanner. This looks to be an exciting matchup. Fresno is coming fresh off of a victory against the Florida Vikings, while Minnesota is also coming off of a big victory last night against the Fort Worth Jaguars. This could go either way, so this will be an exciting game.
Yes, the Fresno Force coming in here is the third seed. The Growlers is the second seed. That playoff bracketing was only determined at the very last match yesterday with the Growlers' victory over the Jaguars, securing them the win percentage tiebreaker against the Fresno Force in playoff contention.
At forward, number 19, Axel Solinger. And at forward, number 8, Maximus Blanco. And for your home team, Minnesota Growlers. In goal, number 77, Tassi Yarvin. At defense, number 64, J.P. O'Reilly. At defense, number 2, Riku Vanipa. At center, number 26, Duke Hilton. At wing, number 10, Imari Langley. And at the other forward, 96, Emily Jordan. Referees for this game is assigned by the NFL, Vince Faso and Shawnee.
And with the lineups, both teams getting ready here to head down for the face-off. Getting ready to take it. It'll be number 26, Tuukka Hiltunen of the Minnesota Growlers against number 34, Alex Neumann of the Fresno Force. And for this match, Fresno going to have a roster change after an incident yesterday in play against the Florida Vikings. Matt Smith, captain of the Fresno Force, given a one-game suspension. Now heading down for the face-off. Hiltunen on Neumann. Recovery there by the Fresno Force. Kim Nyberg going to take it here. They'll be starting off slow. We'll come down to the close wing. Edvin Nilsson, Ilmari Lehtinen, and Emily Bjernen playing up here for the Minnesota Growlers. Two high-scoring players currently second and third in the race for scoring. The ball sent down deep into Minnesota territory early. Max Blanco. He'll pass down the line, sailing into Fresno territory.
Now expect some big things from Max Blanco this game. He is a sharp shooter and always has an eye for the goal. He has a tendency to shoot, but he's on a line here with a lot of his teammates from back in Sweden, so it could be anybody, and they play very well together.
Neumann driving down, now the shot attempt saved by Pasi Arvinen. Kicked out to the far side. Max Blanco losing control there. Now a mad grab for possession taken away by Hiltunen. Over to Emily Bjernen on the far side. Chipped over Max Blanco. It'll go to Santoletto.
These Minnesota guys like to take their time with it. bring up a good rush and set up a play down far, and then 1, 2, 3 passes go through, and they will have an open shot on you. So you can never let your guard down on defense.
And on the far side now, Rene Cotuloto cycling to the center lane. Coming now on the close wing will pass to Yipao Roila. Hovering around midcourt, driving in now. The shot attempt from deep, sailing out of bounds. It's going to be a Fresno force hit in. Just over a minute has passed so far in the first period. Neither team able to get a substantial offensive drive off just yet. Adrian Amdahl, number 4, with the pass to Axel Solander. Rantala and Rovinen, now the up men for this line on the defense for Minnesota. Edvin Nilsson coming around center lane will pass down to Axel Solander. Go across, Kim Nyberg, number 78. Now Nilsson on the close wing. Fresno now picking up the pace a bit with the pass to Max Blanco. Down to Solander. Axel Solander, a player who came in for the second half of the regular season, but he's made a big impact. He had a hat trick in his first 2 matches for the Force. Looking to continue that performance today here in the playoff match where it counts even more. The winner from today's game will take on the first seed Florida Vikings, who defeated the Ohio Aviators 10-4 in their semifinal match earlier today. Solander in some traffic. Now the Minnesota defense retreating. Adam Torkelson in the center lane here. He'll pass behind himself to Taylor Walsh, the Canadian export. Far side over to Fredrik Frafjord. Bjerninen coming in there for a little bit of a press. He'll force it back to Walsh in front of the crease. A lot more of a defensive strategy here so far from Fresno. Torkelson looking inside the box there for Castellanos with the pass sailing wide. Now it's a battle in center lane. Frafjord boxing out Bjerninen. He'll get the pass off to Adrian Amdahl. The pass to Adam Torkelson. He'll lose control. Still anybody's ball there in center court. Emily Bjerninen coming away with it now, driving into Fresno territory. He'll pass behind himself over to Yipao Roila. Down to Tuukka Hiltunen. Chip to the corner. The shot attempt saved. Nearly a goal there for the Minnesota Growlers, staying alive by inches. Frafjord blocking the pass with his body. Torkelson goes over to Castellanos, looking for Frafjord on the far side. Over to Torkelson. Shot attempt. Blocked there by Hiltunen. Another try. Saved by Pasi Arvinen. Etuvainion Pass sends it back to Al Roila to end that Fresno drive.
One unique thing to look at with Fresno is the diversity in their roster compared to the other teams. They have a lot of players from Norway, Canada, the U.S., all over the place, and a lot of teams focus in on one nation.
Yes, and certainly for the Minnesota Growlers, it's a heavy finish presence that leads to the passing offense that we see very frequently here. Cotuloto to Rantala, going behind Fresno's goal. Coming now on the close wing, looking in the center, intercepted there by Neumann on the fast break, driving down the pass over to Max Blanco. The shot sailing wide right. Ball chipped up in the air, Neumann fielding it. Then we go back down deep into Fresno territory. Edvin Nilsson, number 90 here at the point. He'll send it over to Kim Nyberg on the far side. Down to Nilsson once more. The pass sailing wide around Solander. Neumann unable to get there in time to recover. Santiletto gets the ball out to Rene Cotuloto. He'll take it behind his own goal as his team makes substitutions. Handing it off to number 96, Emily Bjerninen.
Bjerninen is clearly a goal scorer for his team. He has 26 goals and 5 assists on the season. He is a finisher and he is a sharpshooter, and he is someone to look out after if you're on defense for this Fresno Force team.
Bjerninen sending it down to Ilmari Lehtinen. Hovering around the goal line, will pass back to Tuukka Hiltunen. Over to Ilmari Lehtinen, chipped away there by Adrian Amdahl. Fresno now retaking possession in their own territory. Walsh on the far side will pass it back to Amdahl. Just over 5 minutes have passed so far in the first period, still scoreless here in this semifinal matchup of the 2023 Troy Cup playoffs. Bjerninen looking to drive down. Now he's got a lot of velocity, heading to the corner to the pass, chipped there off the stick of Taylor Walsh, going over to Adrian Amdahl, number 4. He'll send it off the boards just between the legs of referee Sean Eden, and he'll pass it off to Axel Solander. Is Fresno making substitutions? Pass behind himself, Edvin Nilsson over to the far side to Kim Nyberg. Back to Nilsson. Cross court, Max Blanco down the line, chipped there by Neumann. Rovinen, pass intercepted in Fresno territory by Nilsson. Over to Max Blanco. Across to Axel Solander. In the center, Max Blanco towards the crease, chipped away by Auroila. Into Vanyonpa. Tarantula, shot attempt off the body of Nyberg. A lot of back and forth. Coltrolwoto driving, but will lose control of the ball behind him. Tarantula down to Vanyonpa. Minnesota going to look to restart an offensive drive here, reorganize their offensive strategy. Vanyonpa back to Auroila. Deep Auroila, captain here of the Growlers squad. Certainly a great leader here for a line that's developed a lot of chemistry over this season here in the NAFL. Pass to Vanyonpa, out to Coltrolwoto, deflected off the body of Edvin Nilsson. Now Axel Solander. He'll go to the ground there, no harm, no foul. Fresno was looking for a call, they won't find one. It appears he tripped of his own volition. Pass now, Rovinen. Goes off the boards there. Coming around now, Edvin Nilsson. He'll pass to Nyberg behind the goal. Effectively ending the pressure there from the Growlers for the time being. Fresno looking forward to a reprieve as they bring a new line out to the court. Torkelson to Amdahl. Pass over to Walsh.
Walsh brings in a lot of experience at international play. He's been playing for the Canadian national team against some of the highest ranked teams in the sport. He played at the World Games last summer and got to play against teams like Switzerland, like Finland, like the Czech Republic, and got to experience some of the highest levels there are.
Walsh, of course, a returner to that Fresno Force squad. He constitutes a big part of the Canadian core, and with the absence of Captain Matt Smith, he's certainly the most experienced Canadian joining the Fresno squad today. The hit in there by the Growlers. Now Hiltunen on the close wing. Tuukka Hiltunen off the boards. He'll find Ilmari Lehtinen. Chipped away there by Amdahl. It's going to be awarded here to the Minnesota Growlers. 12 minutes, 34 seconds remaining in the first. Hiltunen looking into Bjernanen, but it's chipped away by Frafjord. Now Torkelson driving down, battling for possession. Emily Bjernanen, number 96, able to come away with it. It'll go behind his own goal line there.
Bjernanen is so quick. He moves in a flash of an eye, and he can get right around anyone he wants to.
And certainly one of the best ball handlers on the Growlers team. He's really coming to his own on the back half of this season. That's where a lot of his goals have come from. He is outright the highest goal scorer in the NAFL with 26 goals on the season, plus 5 assists for 31 points. Hiltunen to Lehtinen. Hiltunen unable to chip it back in there from inside the crease, but it'll get out to number 64, Jiip Auroila. Shot attempt from deep by Bjernanen, sailing out of bounds.
He's looking to get on the board early. Had an open shot just over the net. Know exactly that feeling, but he'll wipe it off and get ready for the next one.
Now the Fresno Force on the hit in. Edvin Nilsson on the close wing. Go across to Kim Nyberg. Far side, Alex Neumann. Coming in the center lane, the chip pass down to Nilsson. Over to Solander, behind the goal line. That pass, not enough energy. Vanyonpa trying to capitalize. Still Nilsson able to come away with the pass down to Neumann. Over to Nyberg, far side. Blanco shot attempt out. Off the body of Santuleto. It'll be a Fresno hit in. Solander set to take it. He'll pass it off the boards. Over to Edvin Nilsson. Kim Nyberg on the far side. Back to Nilsson. Axel Solander now. Trying to drive behind the goal. Stopped off there by Eetu Vanyonpa. Forced to run in traffic. He'll shoot. Saved by Pasi Arvinen. Another attempt by Neumann. Chipped just high over the goal. Minnesota Growlers free hit here to end the Fresno drive. Emily Bjernanen taking it now from Minnesota on the close wing. He'll cross the court, diagonal pass there, working with Lehtinen, far side. Ilmari Lehtinen, a player who loves to get in close to the crease, just creeping, waiting in enemy territory for a pass from a teammate. Frafjord sends it back down to Walsh. Send it across to Amdahl, off the boards. He'll chip it back behind the goal here in Minnesota territory. Amdahl needing support. He won't find it in the crease. The pass chipped away there by Tuukka Hiltunen. Frafjord taking it now. Over to Castellanos. He'll find the ball, but the shot attempt sailing wide left. Amdahl in the close corner. Amdahl now. Going around, shot attempt wide left. Off the boards again, Eetu Vanyonpa. Taking it now on the far wing. We'll send it over to Tuukka Hiltunen. Castellanos on a full court press here. Now starting to release for the Fresno defense.
That Minnesota defense gets a lot of playing time, especially the captain, He is out there a lot, but he solidifies their defense and makes it work. He's a great ball handler, and he knows exactly where to be and to lead his team to the right way.
As Yipao Royla, whenever we spoke to him in an interview a few days ago, told us that the key for his team heading into these playoffs as they look to make a run for the Troy Cup is being more aggressive on the court. They've certainly found ways to do that, especially utilizing their team's speed. The problem is it has a negative effect on stamina, and for a team with a short bench, only running 2 effective lines, it's certainly grueling on the players to stay out there 60 minutes full level. Referee Sean Eden calling that ball back. Now Nilsson on the free hit to Zolander. Back to Nilsson. Over to Nyberg. Rovinen starting to press. He'll go in tight to the crease. Neumann, an impressive shot attempt just wide right. Still trying to recover there. Defense by Yipao Royla. Kicked off the foot there, Santoletto. Neumann still battling in double coverage finally to end it. A free hit awarded to the Growlers. Number 53, Santoletto, set to take it. Santoletto on the close wing will pass to Bjerninen. Less than 10 minutes remain in the first period. Still scoreless here, live from North Richland Hills, Texas, in this semifinal matchup of the 2023 Troy Cup playoffs. Auroila coming around midcourt. Pass deflected by Neumann, still finding its intended receiver, Bjerninen, who's working with Santoletto now on the far wing. Bjerninen coming in closer, deflected by Neumann once more. Ilmari Lehtinen going over the boards, taking out a chair there. Hit in for Fresno. Walsh taking it with a pass to Amdahl.
Minnesota really wants to feed Bjorninen and get him going, get him on the board, because he is such a vital part of their offense. You can tell they favor that side heavily.
And now Frafjord trying to recover after the ball chipped away from Castellanos. That one goes off the body of Pasi Arvinen. Torkelson on the close wing. He'll send it over to Frafjord. It's good! Fredrik Frafjord putting the Fresno Force on the board first.
That was a great play by Fresno there. They followed up a missed opportunity, popped it out. The center from Minnesota got distracted with the pass out and left an open gap, and he was able to fill that with an open pass and wide open shot in the slot. That's going to be pretty impossible to stop for any goalie.
Yeah, classic cross-court play there. Certainly misdirecting the veteran goalkeeper, Pasi Arvinen. And now with 8 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in the first period, your score, Minnesota Growlers 0, Fresno Force 1. Heading down now for the face-off. It'll be Cotolotto against Neumann. Recovery by Fresno. Kim Nyberg taking it. He'll go over to Edvin Nilsson. In the center, Neumann shot straight into the right hand of Pasi Arvinen.
It's fun to see Max Blanco and Hugo Roivinen matched up at wing against each other on that face-off. They were teammates in Denmark at the World U19 Floorball Championship earlier this year.
Krantala sending it back there to Vanjonpa. Cross court. He'll miss the pass a little bit too much. Backspin, and Neumann able to create an opportunity, but it'll go out of bounds off the body of number 2, Eetu Vanjonpa. That'll be the Fresno Force on the hit, and number 8, Max Blanco, heading to the far corner to take it. He'll have support there from Neumann. Down the line to Kim Nyberg. Over to Edvin Nilsson. Zolander working with Nilsson. Cross court deep to Blanco. Kim Nyberg at midcourt, back to Blanco. Cotolotto increasing the aggression on the defense here in tight for Minnesota. Neumann, pass deflected by Rene Cotolotto, number 88. He's got Blanco behind him. He'll send the ball down the boards to number 64, Captain Yipao Royla. First line returning here for the Minnesota Growlers. Auroila, chip pass to Bjerninen. Just absolute pinpoint accuracy there from Auroila. He'll send it down the line now. Lehtinen, pass deflected by Amdahl, sent out of bounds. It'll be a Minnesota Growlers hit-in.
You can see they're aiming to work it down the right side and feed it back to that left side to feed Bjorninen and get him going.
Ilmari Lehtinen behind the goal now. Facing a lot of traffic. He'll get it out to Bjerninen on the far side. And the shot attempt by Lehtinen, good. Off the assist, cross-court from Emily Bjerninen. Ilmari Lehtinen ties it up here.
That was a great play by Minnesota there. Lehtinen finds an opening, sneaks back door, and catches the defender sleeping for just a second, and that's all that Minnesota needs to strike and get on the board.
And it certainly seems like a traditional strategy we've seen all season here, putting Ilmari Lehtinen down around the goal line, just creeping, waiting for that opportunity. It's one of the reasons why he has so many points this season, 35 on the season now. 7 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in the first. Back to a tie ball game. Your score, Minnesota 1, Fresno 1.
This Minnesota team moves very, very fast on offense, and especially without the ball. As a defender, you need to be watching every second, and you can never let your guard down.
And an improper face-off called. It'll be a free hit here for the Growlers.
Assistant number 96, Emily Bjornen. Time of the goal, 12:53.
Number 53, Santaletto with a pass to Rantala. Shot attempt from deep, saved by Theodor Suderquist. Out to Nyberg. Go to Neumann. Creeping down the center lane, will pass to Nilsson on the close wing. Rantala and Rovinen sticking around midcourt. Nilsson driving down. He's got some breathing room, and he's got a shot. Edvin Nilsson, number 90, with a quick answer to the Minnesota goal.
Not much you can do about that shot there other than try to get in front of it. That was perfectly placed just above the left leg of the Minnesota goaltender and just under his arm. That is exactly where you want to shoot, and every goalie in floorball will tell you that is the hardest shot to stop.
And thanks to that pinpoint accuracy with 6 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in the first period, the Fresno Force were taking the lead. Your score, Growlers 1, Force 2. Heading down for the faceoff now, Yipao Ruela against Alex Neumann. Recovery by Fresno. Nilsson taking it. We'll go over to Kim Nyberg, number 78.
Fresno Force goal scored by number 90, Edmund Nilsson. Assist number 34, Alex Neumann.
Nyberg sends it over to Blanco. A lot of players in the backcourt here currently for the Fresno Force. Ilmari Lehtinen, the up man on the defense here. Nyberg on the far side, looking for a man to pass to. Will come down to Axel Solander. Back out to Nyberg. Over to Max Blanco. Chipped away off the stick there of Santaletto. Tuukka Hiltunen, the pass far side to Bjerninen. Looking for Ilmari Lehtinen. He'll find him, the pass sailing wide. Bjerninen on the recovery there. Auruela working with Santaletto. Minnesota looking to continue the pressure here. The ball chipped off the stick of Solander. Auruela sending it out of bounds. It's going to be a Fresno Force hit-in.
And you can see there the speed of Emily Bjornen. He is so fast and just effortlessly gets around the Fresno defenders. Couldn't make it happen that time, but expect to be on the lookout for him later on.
Frafjord sending it down, looking for Castellanos inside the crease, but it goes off the body of Yipao Ruela. Now on the far wing, still staying behind his own goal line. He'll pass to Etu Vanyonpa on the close side. Over to Auruela. Castellanos starting to press. Corluoto left open far side, cross court to Valtteri Rantala. Shot attempt from deep, saved by Theodor Suderquist. Amdahl inbounding now for Fresno. Amdahl sending it down deep, far corner, over to Frafjord. Back down the line to Amdahl. Over to Frafjord. Shot attempt wide left, off the backboard. Storkelson trying to recover, facing double team pressure there. The ball chipped up and out of bounds, hit and awarded to the Fresno Force. Torkelson and Castellanos set to take it. Etruvanyonpa trying to reach around. Will force Torkelson down the far side. Off the boards. Auruela coming away with the steal there. Torkelson still keeping some full court pressure. Now he'll back off for the Force. First line returning to the court here for Minnesota. Emily Bjerninen hovering around midcourt. And Emily Bjerninen just missing the ball there on the shot attempt. It'll sail behind him. Adam Torkelson there to recover. Ilmari Lehtinen deflecting the pass attempt. Trying to create an opportunity. Neumann struggling there to drive out, but he'll get a pass out to Solander. Now it's Edvin Nilsson. We'll go across the court to Kim Nyberg.
Minnesota almost with another chance there. Just missed the pass, but as they always say, if you keep going to the right places, the goals will come eventually.
Now on the far side, Nyberg biding his time. Björninen getting a little bit more aggressive on the pressure there. Lehtinen still staying put there. In the pass off the boards, Santuleto unable to get there first. Blanco looking for Neumann, deflected there by number 26, Tuke Hiltunen, able to get the angle around Neumann. The pass to Vanyanpa, intercepted there by number 19, Axel Sol under the chip to Neumann in the center, driving down. Just saved by Pasi Arvinen. It looked like he wouldn't even be able to get a shot attempt off there, but Neumann able to make it happen. Tuke Hiltunen with the pass to Yipao Roila as he subs out. Yipao Roila on the close side. Shot attempt from deep. No good is the call. It was unclear whether or not it went in, but they're saying Söderqvist came away with it. Fresno ball.
Hugo Roivonen trying to get in front of the goalie and cause some disruption, screen him, maybe get a tip on the ball. Easy way to disrupt a goalie's play. That time he was in the crease, but he's set up there the whole game, and he'll probably go back next shift.
Frafjord, shot attempt sailing wide right. Walsh now behind the goal line. Free hit's going to be awarded to Fresno. Number 27, Jonas Castellanos getting set to take it with Fredrik Frafjord. The Norwegian connection here for the Fresno team. Castellanos! It's good! Frafjord and Castellanos, a match made in heaven. A beautiful goal off the hit there.
Well, that is just so hard to defend. That was a beautiful play. The skill it takes to hit it out of the air like that. You know they had that planned and had that coming, and they were able to execute it to perfection. Absolutely beautiful goal by the Fresno Force there.
Certainly a lot owed to head coach Bruno Lundborg, the Balrog legend, who's returned for his second season here to lead the Fresno Force squad. Certainly a better outcome this season with a playoff run as opposed to the fourth place finish last season. 3 minutes remaining in the first period. Your score, Minnesota Growlers 1, Fresno Force 3. Now for the face-off, it'll be Hiltunen on Neumann. Recovery by Fresno once more. And in the last 3 minutes here, Minnesota going to look to make something happen offensively, something that can give them momentum, put them back in the lead here, or at least give them a better mindset heading into intermission and into the second period. Ball going to the far side. Neumann, spin around. Björninen pressing him hard. He'll go behind himself. Edvin Nilsson shot attempt sailing high out of bounds.
This Fresno Force line, all Swedes, they have so much skill. I had the pleasure of talking to Max Blanco last year at the World Games, playing alongside him, Team USA, and he told me that his team back home, he was the worst shooter. But he did lead Team USA in scoring at that World Game, so it says something about his teammates that he brought with him this year.
Yes, a lot of connections there from Sirius IBK and Sweden on the Fresno Force first line. It's paid off for them, that influx of new talent this season, in addition to returning stars from the first season of the North American Floorball League. It's given Fresno new life, and we're certainly seeing it on the court here today in this first period. Lehtinen, Hiltunen, back to Lehtinen. Facing double team coverage, will pass out to Björninen on the far side. Back over to Lehtinen, looking at the crease. Deflected there by Nilsson. Now coming around to the center lane. Pass chip there by Blanco. Over to Solander on the fast break. Around Eetu Vanyanpa. Smooth moves, but unable to get it there for the shot attempt. Neumann's ball sailing high out of bounds. It'll be a Minnesota Growlers sit-in.
That had potential to be an outstanding highlight play. Almost made it happen, just couldn't finish on that one, but expect good things to come.
Santuleto here with the pass to Eetu Vanyanpa. They go down to Valtteri Rantala, looking for a man to pass to. Will come now to the center lane. A minute and a half remaining here in the first period. Fresno still with a 2-goal lead. Rene Kotuloto cross court to Valtteri Rantala, behind himself to Vanyanpa. You can see here the passing chemistry that this Growlers team has developed over the season. Torkelson battling hard for the ball there. The pass still able to get out to Rovinen. Kotuloto to Santuleto. Back to Rene Kotuloto. Eetu Vanyanpa working with Santuleto. An interesting change for Eetu Vanyanpa, number 2. His wardrobe today. No longer wearing a signature headband. We'll see if it's a new good luck charm or a new game day tradition. That shot attempt sailing wide. Kotuloto, pass intercepted by Castellanos. The chip to Torkelson. The shot is posted out.
That was a beautiful play set up there by Castellanos. He saw his teammate coming to join him, and he just made a slight chip pass, gave him an open shooting opportunity, almost finished on that one. Just couldn't make it happen that time.
Now with less than 45 seconds remaining in the first period, Yipao Ruela taking it, looking to lead his offense down the court on one final drive to try to put them on the board once more in the first period before the end of time. Ruela still at the point, edging closer to midcourt. Deep pass off the boards, Ilmari Lehtinen. He's able to break away with it, looking inside the crease. Hiltonen unable to chip it out. Neumann down to Blanco, 15 seconds. Solander taking the ball. Pass deflected there, Ilmari Lehtinen taking it. Shot attempt off the leg of Kim Nyberg. Neumann with the ball. He'll hold on to it here in the last seconds of the first period. Nilsson holding it. And at the end of the first, your score here live from North Richland Hills, Texas. It's Minnesota Growlers 1 versus the Fresno Force 3. Floorball fans, what a great first period of play here. Certainly, there's going to be greatness to come. Join us in less than 10 minutes when we bring you here the second period of semifinal play here between the Growlers and the Force. And of course, stay tuned here during the intermission as we get ready to bring you another exclusive NAFL player interview. Well, floorball fans of the North American Floorball League, thank you for joining us for the first period of play here between the Fresno Force and the Minnesota Growlers. I'm joined here by number 23, Frederick Frafjord. How are you feeling after that first period?
Oh, it's a good period. We got some goals there. Felt nice. So good start, and we just have to keep it going.
Now, obviously, we've seen a lot of offensive production this period. You and Jonas Castellanos especially, with a lot of smooth moves that pass from the hidden. Tell me, are those planned plays that you practiced before with your head coach Bruno Lundborg, or are those spur-of-the-moment passing decisions?
You know, it's kind of both. We have played with each other previously back in Norway, and also just kind of finding each other nicely on the court now. And there's a lot of room there, so it fits really well.
And of course, heading into this match, you're up against a Minnesota Growlers team whose specialty is passing. What has been your idea defensively to try and stop their ability to create these offensive drives?
Yeah, you know, we have to be patient and solid in defense, and we know that our chances will come offense again. So we just have to keep it going and be patient and keep what we're doing, and hopefully it'll be good.
Very well, Frederick. Thank you for joining us. Best of luck in the second period. Floorball fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in less than 10 minutes with the exciting second period of semifinal play here between the Fresno Force and the Minnesota Growlers. Well, floorball fans of the North American Floorball League, it's almost time to head back down to the court here for what's set to be an intense second period of play between the Minnesota Growlers and the Fresno Force. But before we do, we'd like to remind you that without our sponsors, the North American Floorball League wouldn't be possible. As you know, we sent out our explorers to search the galaxy. They came back and told us there was only one stop for everything floorball, floorballplanet.com. The NFL also has an official clothing partner for the 2023 season. It's Kempa. If you like what our referees are wearing, then you like Kempa, from head to toe, from shoe to shirt. And as we get ready for the face-off, you can trust that our game ball is the only official game ball of the North American Floorball League. Excel, because like the NFL, Excel chooses to rule.
I use Excel myself, and their stuff is the best.
Now, floorball fans, as we get ready for the face-off, it's going to be Alroila recovering here for the Growlers. A reminder that the statistics for this NAFL game and every other one, past, present, or future, is always available online at statbeat.com/NAFL. Goals, assists, matches, rankings, and more. Always available at statbeat.com/NAFL. Now Solander driving down here for Fresno. Shot attempt deflected off the stick of Leto, sailing out of bounds. Fresno's hit him. Neumann getting it to Solander. Blanco shot attempt off the body of Alroila. Off the boards to Edvin Nilsson. Down to Neumann. Shot attempt saved by Pasi Arvinen. Another chip by Blanco sailing wide. Stuck behind the goal. Hard-fought battle for possession, and Neumann able to kick it out. We'll get it over to number 19, Axel Solander. Solander now taking it for Fresno. His team making substitutions behind him. Now Frafjord on the close wing. Pass over. Walsh now at the point. On the far side, Adrian Amdahl. Taylor Walsh once again taking it. Fresno slowing the pace of the game down here. Now coming back, it's Walsh. Cycling closer to the close wing, but he'll send it down to Adrian Amdahl. Shot attempt from deep, sailing wide right. Alroila coming away with it in his own territory. The pass to Bjerninen, deflected there by Castellanos. Seems like a far more aggressive Fresno defense this period.
Minnesota's going to try to slow it down once again. They run a little bit of a short bench, so they try to savor these moments where they can take a breath before they start developing something offensively once again.
Cotuoto now on the close wing. Cycling around to the center, will pass behind himself to Yipa Alroila. Now in Fresno territory, Valtteri Rantala losing some control. Castellanos able to come away with it, chipped away by Alroila. Frafjord will send it back over to Walsh. Now Walsh backing off, will pass to Frafjord. He'll go far side, over to Edvin Nilsson. Down to Kim Nyberg. Nilsson once more at the point, will pass down, far side, Solander, back to Nilsson. Over to Nyberg. Robin and Rantala still staying around the half-court mark. The deep shot attempt by Solander, sailing wide, going off the backboards. Solander, shot nearly chipped in. It's going to be Minnesota's ball now.
You could see multiple times that possession. Solander trying to find backdoor, trying to find Blanco there. That's their play they like to set up. They try to work it around and find that backdoor player to run through. Oh.
And now Solander over to Neumann. Shot goes off the helmet of Järvinen. Into Vanjonpa. Down to Lettinen. Kim Nyberg able to get control there. When we spoke to Kim Nyberg, number 78, before the match. Oh, it's good. Sangiletto. Unbelievable break there. It looked like Fresno was about to come away with possession, but Sangiletto taking control back around the crease and sending it or past Theodor Silverquist.
That was just a crazy sequence of events on both sides. First, Fresno gets a bad pass that they get a good break on and take a good shot, but then goes back down the other way, and the same thing comes right back to them. They're able to capitalize and put that one away.
And now with 16 minutes, 47 seconds remaining in the second period. Minnesota getting closer here. Your score, Growlers 2, Force 3. referees calling back that face-off.
Came a little early. I was wondering if they were going to stop it. Vince was able to figure it out and get the right call to be made.
And it looks like the call here was made for the Growlers. Shot attempt right from the get-go by Rantala, sailing wide. Chip it away from Torkelson. Olto driving down. Shot attempt, post and out. Rovinen trying to send it down the line, but Frafjord able to get there first. They'll lose control behind them. Taylor Walsh now around midcourt. Pass far side. Amdahl. Shot attempt from deep, sailing wide right. Frafjord gets it over to Castellanos. Chipped up, and away by Santuleto.
Hugo Roivinen, a player to watch. He is one of their North American players. Well, he's got the Finnish name. He's based in the USA, plays for the US U19 national team. Just got back from Denmark playing there. He has grown so much through this season and is one of the examples of these North American players that have gotten to have the great opportunity to grow playing some of the premier talent from across the world right here in the US.
Now Neumann and Blanco getting set with the hit here. He'll pass down to Nyberg. Working in Fresno territory, coming towards the center lane. He'll chip it down to Solander. Great job fielding that pass. The spin around Vanjonpa. Looking for Nyberg. Chipped away by Hiltunen. Tuukka Hiltunen off the boards. To find his own man, Bassi Arvinen. Down the line, Ilmari Lehtinen fielding it in Fresno territory. He'll go to the ground there. Play stop, free hit awarded to the Growlers. Lehtinen to Björninen on the outside of the goal. A close call there for the Force. Suderquist will send it to Nyberg.
Very close shot there. He had a pocket just on the left side of the net, and he's a very confident shooter. He wanted it.
Now Nyberg taking it here. Looking to slow down the pace, to stop the pressure that Minnesota has been putting on them. The Growlers still the only team to strike this period off of the confidence on shots by players like Björninen and the anticipation of players like Santuleto, who's able to get there for the in-the-crease shot earlier this period. Edvin Nilsson taking it back towards his own crease while his team makes substitutions. Second line coming out for the Fresno Force. Walsh over to Amdahl. Amdahl pausing here. Waiting for Frafjord to set up. He'll come down to Walsh. In the center lane, he'll pass behind himself to Amdahl. Far side, over to Adam Torkelson. The half spin to try and get around Rantala. He'll get it to Walsh behind the goal. Santuleto, increasingly aggressive defense there. Torkelson will get it out to Adrian Amdahl. To Walsh, in close. That shot attempt off the body of his own man. Another attempt off the rebound, saved by Bassi Arvinen. Frafjord, over to Amdahl. Torkelson, shot attempt with too much spin. Auroila able to easily chip it up there from the crease, but a look for another attempt. Torkelson, shot goes off the body of Santuleto this time, bouncing out of bounds.
Taylor Walsh there creating some awesome opportunities for Fresno. Isn't normally the offensive type of player, normally a lockdown defender, can create plays from the back of the field, but he found himself down low and was able to create a couple of chances and almost put one in.
Certainly Fresno having to make some adjustments off the Matt Smith suspension for this match. That may be one of them, and of course Taylor Walsh, traditionally known for his incredible field player defense, blocking shots, sometimes even more than Fresno's own goalkeepers. Hit and awarded here to the Minnesota Growlers. Ipa Auroila set to take it. To Vanjonpa. He'll pass it behind himself to Auroila. Now to Kotuoto.
This Minnesota team is so hard to defend. They bring it up super slow. They pass it back and forth between the two players, and all while you're watching them, the other guys are moving around and finding themselves open spaces to strike.
Yeah, certainly a lot of rotation here that we see from the Minnesota Growlers offense. The best way to put it is anticipatory. You have players such as Ilmari Lehtinen, as Hugo Rovinen, who find themselves very spread out, down deep, just waiting for a shot attempt, for a pass attempt to find them, creeping close to the crease. Auroila once again at the point here. Solander increasing the pressure, now coming behind him, looking to cut off the passing route. He'll still be able to find Björninen, but now being forced behind his own goal. Enough speed, he'll get the angle on Solander. Trying to weave around traffic. The free hit's going to be awarded here to the Minnesota Growlers. Hiltunen set to take it. It'll be backed up into Minnesota territory. Hiltunen with the pass out to Santuleto. Over to Vanjonpa, far side. Vanjonpa sending it down the line. Lehtinen trying to get a pass to Bjernanen, but Nyberg waiting there down the middle, being forced to the far corner there. And they'll both lose sight of the ball. It'll be sent back down to Torkelson. Heavy pressure from Ilmari Lehtinen to the crease. Castellanos bouncing it off his shoulders. Vanjonpa with enough hustle trying to find it first. Nyberg looking for Walsh, deflected by Hiltonen. Now it's Emily Bjernanen driving down for the Growlers. The pass to Hiltonen. The fast break goal is good. Truka Hiltonen tying it up.
That is a great goal for Minnesota. Ties the game. They found themselves with a break and they put away with an accurate shot. And if you notice, number 2,
Vanjonpa.
I'm sorry, I'm just a dumb American. He's got his headband back, and it seems that might be a lucky item after all. First period, didn't have it, they went down. He's got it back, and now it's a tie game.
And identifying the independent variable, that certainly is a possibility. Regardless of the reason, the outcome the same. 12 minutes, 35 seconds left in the second period. Back to a tie ball game. Minnesota 3, Fresno 3. Now heading down for the face-off. It'll be Rantala against Neumann. Waiting here for the ready from the referees. Now prepared the recovery by the Fresno Force. Nyberg over to Nilsson. Currently 2 unanswered goals this period by the Minnesota Growlers. Fresno maybe need to have a change in strategy. They lose the ball there again. Rovinen, the pass to Rantala. Shot attempt saved by Söderqvist. In a second attempt, results in a save. Once more, it awarded to Fresno.
Great pass out there by Rovinen. Sets up a chance for his teammate to have a good shot on net.
Blanco now driving down. Defense there from Rovinen. Nilsson sending it far side. Over to Nyberg. Coming across. Alex Neumann coming away with the steal. We go over to Nilsson. Going towards midcourt. Shot attempt from deep. Nearly chipped in by Solander, but it'll send to the backboards. Coming down the line to Neumann. Over to Nyberg. Chipped by Alroila so that Nilsson couldn't get a chip shot off from across the crease. Ball sent back to Neumann.
Pasi Järvinen is a very difficult goalie to score on. F-League experience, and he is a wall, very much an anchor for his team. He likes to communicate out there. He yells a lot, directs his team. He can see everything. He lets them know where the players are. A great guy to have in your net.
You know, Casey's one of those rare leaders for a team that even when he's not on the pitch, even whenever he's just talking on the bench, he's still able to motivate his players. A lot of that owes to his veteran experience, over 200 matches in the F-League, and certainly a staple of the Minnesota Growlers defense. Frafjord sending it down to Castellanos. Alroila able to chip it out and away from him as he lost the ball behind him. Yipa Alroila. Pass deflected off the body of Frafjord. Some physical defense here. Torkelson, the shot attempt saved by Järvinen. A scuffle nearly breaking out there towards the crease.
Yeah, he made contact with the goalie's helmet there. I don't think it was unintentional, but Minnesota, those defenders, they will defend their goalie to the end. The slightest bit. Your goaltender is your precious, your treasured item. You do not let a single person touch him, and that's what they were doing there, trying to clear out, give him some space, get their guys off him.
And captain number 64, Yipa Alroila, first to respond to the scene there against Castellanos, number 27, who seemed to make the hit. Now free hit awarded to the Minnesota Growlers. Vanjonpa cross to Bjernanen. Coming around into the center lane in traffic, shot saved by Söderqvist. Castellanos now down to Torkelson on the fast break, chipped away there by Vanjonpa. Now number 26, Tuukka Hiltonen, facing pressure from Torkelson. Driving down, the pass to Lehtinen. It'll sail wide to Vanjonpa. There to recover. Santorletto now. The center lane will pass far side to Vanjonpa.
These Minnesota Growlers, as good as they play as a team, they play even better individually sometimes. They are slick and they are fast.
Yes, they're certainly great stick handlers, ball handlers. That's what enables this great passing offense that we very commonly see from them. They know that no matter what pressure is thrown at them, full court presses, they can still weave their way out of trouble. Cotuoto, pass deflected by Blanco. He's driving down, he'll lose control, heading to the far side on the fast break. He'll pass to Frafjord. Deflected off his stick. Nyberg over to Nilsson.
Fresno going to try to set up something themselves here, slow the game down a little bit. It's getting a little bit out of hands. They want to slow it down, play it at their pace, and try to get back on the board to establish their momentum once again.
Blanco losing some control there will give Minnesota an edge. Solander pressing tightly. Some stick contact there, but Cotoloto still maintaining possession for the Growlers. Now Fresno backing off. Speaking before the game with number 78, Kim Nyberg, assistant captain of the Fresno squad, stepping in for Matt Smith in the captain role today. He told us the key here against the Growlers has to be a defensive mindset. If you shift, you go back onto your heels to an offense mindset, that's when the Growlers are ready to strike most. Ball chip to the center, Neumann to Blanco, cross court to Solander. The shot attempt saved by Pasi Järvinen. Cotoloto heading to the boards there. Racing down, stopped up by Nilsson. Kicked up and out of bounds by Neumann.
And that was that Fresno chemistry at work. A quick 1-2 and an open shot, all running in sync together, and they were able to just effortlessly pass it back and forth and find the open guy.
Exactly. A lot of Fresno's goals this season have come off of fast break offensive just like that. As you've mentioned, their passing chemistry enables it. Hailing, as you were mentioning, Case, to a lot of the players coming from Sirius IBK in Sweden on this first line. Hiltunen, shot attempt saved by Söderqvist. Lehtinen trying for another attempt from around the side. It'll sail wide. Björninen on the close board. They'll send it to Vanjanpää with some breathing room. The shot attempt goes off the body of Amdahl. And a close goal there, saved by Söderqvist off the Lehtinen attempt. Walsh off the backboard, stay Amdahl.
With the NAFL season being fairly short compared to normal length of time for seasons, it's a good strategy for a lot of teams, and a lot of teams have found signing players from the same squads that already have that built-in chemistry to come across and just execute has been very fruitful for a lot of these teams.
And nearly an offensive attempt there by the Fresno Force going in. It was close. Järvinen sprawled out, but unable to convert. You know, Case, just as you were mentioning, signing players from the same squad, it's certainly what led to the success of the Fort Worth Jaguars last season, bringing a lot of their first line from the West End Indian team in Finland, leading them to the runner-up position in the Troy Cup Finals. Neumann, shot attempt from deep, sailing wide, out of bounds. It's going to be a Minnesota Growlers hit in here. Yipao Roila set to take it.
Team chemistry is everything with this league, and the Minnesota definitely has it. They've been out and about all season long, doing lots of fun stuff together, and they have definitely shown it on the court with their chemistry. It's translated.
It's one of the best things about the North American Floorball League. You know, the seasons are short, but here the players have a wealth of opportunities for team-building activities. They're spending their time together on the pitch and off the pitch, and a lot of team outings bring chemistry that contributes to on-the-court performance. Fresno taking the hit here. Neumann down to Blanco. Back to Neumann. In the center lane, he'll pass far side to Nilsson. Shot attempt from deep off the body of Leto. Blanco kicking it back out to Nyberg. Down to Blanco. Driving in closer and closer. Shot just wide left. A lot of spin on that shot.
He wanted that shot so bad. He had that left side of the net, and he walked in, looked at it, and just couldn't execute for that one.
And Amari Lehtinen now forced to the close boards and pass behind himself to Björninen. Coming in close now behind the goal line of Fresno. They'll send it down to Santuleto, losing some control by Nunpa, waiting there. Still a tie game here live from North Richland Hills. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the second period. Etu Vanjanpää taking it on the far wing. Will pass to Santuleto in the center lane. Now Björninen on the close side, back out to Santuleto. Driving now past midcourt. Looking inside the crease to Lehtinen once more. The pass sailing wide, unable to get the shot attempt off. Hiltunen losing some control off of heavy defense from Nilsson. Advantage granted to the Growlers.
That's exactly what Minnesota wants. They want to take their time and wait to catch the defense unsuspecting where they will strike.
Amari Lehtinen going to the ground there. Sean Eden saying it's fair play, play on. Tuukka Hiltunen looking for a pass behind himself, but nobody's home. The lights aren't on. Kim Nyberg waiting there for the steal. Frafjord now on the close wing. He'll pass back out to Taylor Walsh as Fresno looks to start an offensive drive. Amdahl back out to Walsh. Now down to Frafjord. Back to Walsh, far side, working with Amdahl. Fresno increasing the pace a bit here.
This next goal is going to be very critical for this game. It's a pretty even split. Both teams have regained some momentum and are going at each other from a new life, and it's almost like a 0-0 game at this point.
Amdahl driving down behind the goal line, looking to be the one to give Fresno the next goal to get that crucial tipping point of the match reestablished. Referee Sean Eden calling the location back there for the hit. Torkelson working with Frafjord, now behind the goal line. Chipped by Vanjonpa. He's still got an opening on the close wing. Alroila behind him. Free hit awarded to the Fresno Force there off the Alroila defense. 4 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the second period. Certainly these next minutes will be crucial to setting the tone for the third period. Referee Vince Basso calling for a stoppage there to wipe the court in the Fresno crease.
Now Minnesota, they run a short bench on their defensive side, and while their defenders are very conditioned and can run at a whole game's pace, they also play a very efficient defense where they don't have to move more than they need to. They conserve their energy very well, and they're able to translate it over to the offensive side where they can score a lot of goals.
In this match, especially from the Minnesota defense, we've seen a lot less movement as opposed to versus some other teams. This match, they've really favored the half-court defense. A lot of it certainly about preserving energy, preserving stamina, as you mentioned, Case. Free hit awarded here to the Fresno Force. Neumann looking to take it quickly. They'll go to Solander. Shot goes off the body of Cotuloto. Neumann still with possession. Pass to Max Blanco behind the goal line. Back to Neumann behind the goal. Out to Nilsson. Shot attempt off the body of Cotuloto once more. Rovinen kicking out but losing control. It'll go out of bounds off the stick of Hugo Rovinen. Fresno Force it in. Solander going far side to Nilsson. Down to Nyberg. Over to Blanco. And an on-target shot there, but it's deflected away. Rene Cotuloto facing pressure in his own territorial. Pass to Alroila. Solander still on a full-court press here for Fresno. Penalty call there against Axel Solander. The Minnesota bench happy about that.
This is going to be a big moment for Minnesota. Very key. They need to deliver, and their power play is so special. They move the ball so fast, and it looks a lot like their even strength offense, but on steroids. They'll have two guys at the top, pass back and forth, until you don't see a guy run backdoor, and they find him and strike every time. It's very difficult to play against. We'll see what Fresno can do. They are missing a key penalty killer in Matt Smith.
Well, and heading in here, Minnesota can use that expert offense, that expert strategy to give them the edge, as you mentioned, Case. The next goal in this match is going to serve as a crucial tipping point. Still a tie ball game. For all intents and purposes, it could just as well be 0-0. And with even match momentum, it'll certainly create an opportunity for one team to get the winning mindset. Minnesota going to try it here. 4 minutes remaining in the second period. Alroila on the close wing. He'll pass down to Björninen. Over to Hiltunen. Shot attempt wide left. Alroila recovering. Björninen. Back over to Alroila. We'll go to Lehtinen. Creeping in. It'll be deflected off the foot of Torkelson. Alroila on the far side waiting for it. Cotuloto lane close towards the crease. Björninen. Over to Hiltunen. Now to Lehtinen. The shot attempt high. Out of bounds. It's going to be a Fresno Force hit in.
They're such skilled passers, and they can create chances like no other team has demonstrated right there. Open shot, couldn't get it done, but don't doubt that they will create more opportunities on this power play.
It's certainly that Finnish style of play. You know, it reminds me so much of how we've seen the Fort Worth Jaguars play last season and this season, with just a hint more aggression, a hint more offensive chance creation here from Minnesota, which is what plays so well into power play here. Tuke Hiltunen over to Alroila. Blanco slightly edging up here. We go across, chipped away by Nilsson. Neumann in the center lane. Going out to the far wing. Facing a lot of pursuit. Alroila going to spin off, not try the fast break. To wait for his teammates to set up. Björninen, the pass over to Hiltunen. Less than a minute remaining in this penalty. Shot attempt goes off the body of Blanco. Hiltunen recovering. Out to Björninen. Will come now. Close wing. Alroila. Over to Björninen. Lehtinen on the far wing. Deflected by Neumann. Will send it down deep into Minnesota territory with less than 30 seconds remaining on the Axel Sola under penalty.
It's a great defense there by Fresno, creating a box and not letting a single pass through that middle. Minnesota's going to have to work extra hard to try to find something to get through.
And now the last 10 seconds of power play. Auroila at the point. Lehtinen to Iltinen. Over to Bjerninen. Shot with a bit too much power and a lot of spin. It sails out of bounds. It'll be Fresno's hit in.
He'll be shaking his head at that one, but those are tough to hit. Coming at you fast, spinning a lot. He has the open net and he's just a little bit too eager to settle the ball down.
And now the penalty over. 2 minutes remaining in the second period. Still a tie ball game. Minnesota 3, Fresno 3. Frafjord in the center lane. Facing some pressure from Grantala. Force him back to spin around. Will go to Walsh. Now back to Walsh. Down to Frafjord. Sending it in deep. Chipped off the body of Vagnonpa. Straight to Castellanos. Facing pressure from Santoleto. Chipped by Vagnonpa. Now coming to the close boards. Leto facing pressure there from Frafjord, but able to get it out to Vagnonpa. Rantala back to head to Vagnonpa. A minute and a half remaining in the second period. Reneko Ruoto over to Santoleto. Past Emily Bjerninen.
Fresno is a team that likes to use their North Americans. You can see Taylor Walsh has been out here a lot. Matt Smith, the captain, normally out with a lot of playing time. And Ben Kitty as well, currently on the bench, backup goalie. He has got a lot of games in this season, has played very well. They've got others too, and they've been making their impact very apparent.
And Ben Kitty, as you mentioned, he's currently 3-0 as a starter for Fresno this season, including a win against the Growlers and also against the Florida Vikings yesterday to finish off the regular season. Off a push call, it's going to be a hit awarded to Fresno here. 48 seconds left on the clock in the second period. Heading down to take it, it'll be Neumann and Blanco. Off the boards to Nyberg. Evan Nilsson now, far side. Back to Nyberg. Off the boards to Neumann. Shot on the outside of the goal, recovered by Pasi Arvinen. Over to Eetu Vagnonpa. 30 seconds remaining in the second period. We'll see if Minnesota can use it to try and put themselves on top heading into the third.
With just 20 seconds left, Minnesota doesn't want to give up anything that they can't recover from, so they're likely going to wind the clock down and wait until they can get a good chance, or if they have nothing, they'll just let it go to the next period.
And Fresno certainly not showing a lot of aggression, likely a similar mindset, not looking to make a crucial mistake here against a killer offense. Auroila sending it from deep, goes off the body of Neumann. Blanco's shot sailing wide as time expires. Your score at the end of the second period. Minnesota Growlers 3, Fresno Force 3. Floorball fans, what an intense period here. Minnesota coming back to tie it all up. That's why you're not going to want to miss the third period conclusion here in the semifinal of the 2023 Troy Cup playoffs between the Fresno Force and the Minnesota Growlers. We'll be back in less than 10 minutes with more of your favorite NAFL action. And of course, stay tuned during the intermission as we'll be bringing you another exclusive player interview.
No, I'm sweating though. Yeah? I'm sweating. It's just warm. I don't know why. I'm sweating. It's true. Yeah? I think you look good.
What's so funny about that? I wasn't expecting it, that's all.
That is true. That is true. Those Canadians are wild.
I can change that. Shirt off. I hope nobody picks up on it. Case did the same thing in the second period as he did in the first. Troy Aikman moment. What's up, y'all? You think I'm doing good or no? Thank you, Bill.
What about me, man? I'm doing great. Yeah.
How you doing, Rick?
Well, floorball fans, it's time to head down to the court now for the third period of play here in the semifinal between the Minnesota Growlers and the Fresno Force. It's set to be an intense third period coming in here to a tie ball game between these two. The winner of this match will play in the Troy Cup Finals tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time against the first seed Florida Vikings, who defeated the Ohio Aviators early today to secure their opportunity to come back and try for a second Troy Cup in a row. Santoletto staying around midcourt, will pass far side to Bjernanen. Pass down deep. Nyberg chipping it to the far corner, trying to get it away from Ilmari Lehtinen. And off a lift call, it's going to be a Fresno ball. Now the pass down to Nilsson. They go to Solander, looking to the center to Neumann. Unable to convert on the counterattack there. Nyberg shipping it away from Bjernanen. Still able to find him off the pass from Santoletto. Coming around now in the center lane. Shot attempt off the body of Frafjord. Neumann taking it. Back over to Nyberg. To Nilsson. Torkelson taking it now. Go over to Amdahl. Walsh working with Blanco, far side. Now Blanco driving down, the pass over to Castellanos. He'll find Walsh at the point. Amdahl looking down, deflected off the body of Vanyon Voss, sailing out of bounds.
Fresno looks like they're controlling it early on. We'll see if they can hold on to this possession for the rest of this period.
And the ball sent out of bounds there. It's going to be another Fresno hit in. Amdahl set to take it with Torkelson. We'll pass it out to Walsh, number 15. We spoke during the intermission with number 15, Taylor Walsh. He told us that when it comes to his play, he's learned after playing in the NAFL, after watching film, playing with these players from Sirius, that even as a defender, he can help to create offensive chances. He said that's what's motivated his play and creating some great opportunities for his team this matchup. When it comes to playing in the third period, he said his team needs to continue to put their heads down, don't give away crucial mistakes, or as he put it, don't burn the toast. Now Hiltonen, the pass behind himself to Santoletto. Bjernanen going across, deflected off the body of Walsh. Bjernanen taking it behind the goal line. He'll pass it out to Ilmari Lehtinen. Bjernanen facing pressure from Walsh. He'll go to Lehtinen. Minnesota creating some pressure here. Hiltonen shot is good. Tuukka Hiltonen, number 26, able to strike first in the third.
That is a great example of this Minnesota offense. A lot of moving parts all at one time. It is so hard to defend as a player. You don't know where you can go, who to stick to. You can stay on your man, but three others are moving behind you, and that is what is working for them. They make multiple passes. The guy without the ball cuts into the net, has it for 1 second. That's all he needs to strike and get a goal.
And Hiltonen, the one in the hot seat there for the Minnesota offense. 17:45 remaining in the third. No longer a tie game. Minnesota 4, Fresno 3. Fresno recovering there on the faceoff. Brantala and Rovinen retreating to half court. Nilsson driving down with a lot of velocity. Shot saved there by Pasi Arvinen. Brantala goes down to Korpivuoto. Auroila to Santoletto. Back to Auroila. Now going down off the boards, chipped up there, still staying in bounds. Auroila, pass intercepted by Frafjord. Over to Nyberg. Back down to Solander, across to Nilsson. He has some breathing room. Shot attempt from deep, saved once more by Pasi Arvinen. Lehtinen in Fresno territory to Bjernanen, and shot high over the goal.
He is unhappy about that one. You can tell he's craving a goal and just wants to get on the board. And sometimes just one is all you need to get going.
Now Fresno taking it in there after the attempt by Bjernanen, and Walsh will go with a pass over to Blanco on the far side. Back down, over to Amdahl. Back over to Blanco. Bjernanen getting a little closer now, starting to press, so retreat off there after the steal attempt. Walsh maintaining possession here for Fresno. Go to Blanco, cross court, Amdahl driving in close. The pass to Castellanos and Torkelson missing both their marks. Amdahl behind the goal, kicked away there by Arvinen. Amdahl now in the close wing. Coming back around, will pass down to Blanco in Fresno territory. Ilmari Lehtinen, the up man here for the defense. In the center to Torkelson. Chipped away there by Al Roila. Over to Bjerninen. Down to Ilmari Lehtinen. Torkelson coming away with the steal, driving down there to Castellanos. Shot attempt sailing just high, nearly hitting league official Joel Olofsson in the head there on the shot attempt.
He falls over after that one. I know how he feels. He's thinking in that split second, yes, we have an easy goal, and just sails over the net. But I'm confident that he'll get another opportunity soon.
And now Minnesota looking to capitalize there off the missed opportunity by Fresno. Alroila and Vanyonpa working together. Solander coming from behind, trying to cut off the back passing lane, still able to get it out to Yipa Alroila. Just under 5 minutes have passed here in the third period. Minnesota still the only team on the board.
Minnesota's looking to slow the game down a little bit. They have their 1-goal lead. They know it's probably not going to be enough to sustain them the rest of the game, but they want to play at their pace and set up the tempo how they want to.
Head to Vanyonpa, the pass to Cortuluoto, still staying in the backcourt to support that slower pace. Alroila in the close wing, he'll pass over to Vanyonpa. Solander unable to come away with the steal there. Still increasing the aggression. Neumann now pressing as well. Fresno going into full court defense. Chipped up in the air there by Nilsson. Solander trying to recover against Cortuluoto. Kick it to the boards. Looking to come back away with it. Vanyonpa sending it down the line. Bjerninen on the fast break. In traffic. Free hit awarded here to the Minnesota Growlers. Tensions running high on the court.
There's that speed once again from Bjorninen. Almost had it. Got a little bit of a foul, but they'll have a chance here.
The shot attempt by Bjerninen sailing wide right. Lehtinen nearly losing control and going to the ground. And a free hit awarded here once again to the Growlers.
A lot of skill in that ball handling by Lehtinen.
Hiltonen now taking the hit. Goes to Vanyonpa, over to Bjerninen. Far side to Santiletto. Now to Vanyonpa, chipped away there by Solander. Sent it behind himself, Neumann waiting for him there, taking it to the far wing. Now Kim Nyberg coming into the crease, waiting for his team to make substitutions here. He'll pass it over to Torkelson. Torkelson sends it to Walsh. Blanco rotating around on the far wing, will take the pass.
One fun thing to note is the amount of young players involved in even just this game. You see Max Blanco out there, who's part of the U.S. U19 national team, as was his teammate Lyndon Van Patten, who unfortunately sustained an injury in Game 1 of this season. Also on their team is Justin Knight, who played against them at the qualifier for Team Canada. And of course, we talked about Hugo Ruvinen, who played alongside them for Team USA over on the Minnesota Growlers.
Certainly a confluence of international talent coming to these teams. It's a unique thing to see. Foes turn to friends and friends turn to foes here in the NAFL. It happens every season, and it certainly leads to more exciting matchup. Players who have that pre-existing chemistry or know their opponent's style. It's interesting to see how those play together here in the NAFL. Now Cortuluoto on the close wing, taking it here for Minnesota. A pass behind himself to Yipa Alroila. Etu Vanyonpa, back to Alroila. Edging towards the far side. Fresno staying behind the half-court line. Etu Vanyonpa on the close side. Now in Fresno territory, cross-court to Cortuluoto. He'll try to get the angle on Frafjord, driving in off the backboards. He'll lose control. Kim Nyberg capitalizing. The pass to Neumann. Getting the angle on Alroila. Looking for a man to pass to. He'll chip it in the center. Frafjord over to Nilsson. Getting the perimeter passing going here. Neumann losing some control. Chipped by Alroila. Still able to get it to Solander. Shot wide right. Saved by Arvinen. Ball chipped up and out of bounds by Hugo Rovinen. It'll be another Fresno force ball. Nilsson. Shot attempt off the body of Vanjonpa. Nyberg misses the shot attempt once more. Now Rantala driving down for Minnesota. He'll pass off the boards. It'll go past Godruoto. The Growlers going to make substitutions here.
Fresno's playing a little bit more urgently in their offense this period. They've got to get a goal back. They have a lot of time to do it, but you don't want to sit back and wait for it to come to you. You have to go find it yourself.
Of course, floorball is a fast-paced, high-energy sport where, as we've seen, Case, anything can happen. Certainly could still be Fresno's match here, but as you mentioned, with every passing second, time becomes an increasingly precious commodity here for the Force. Lettinen behind the goal, looking to make an attempt and extend the Minnesota lead, but Walsh and Amdahl coming away with a steal, sending the ball down the line, sent back. The Fresno bench looking for a penalty. Advantage granted here to the Force. Torkelson in the center, sending it down deep into the hands of Pasi Arvinen.
There's a lot of time left in this game, and obviously the Growlers have that 1-goal lead, but just as a reminder, just in case, the overtime rules for these playoff games, they'll play very similarly to the National Hockey League with 20-minute overtime periods of sudden death until a team scores.
On the far side, Kotuoto now coming in the center lane. Pass behind himself to Eetu Vanjonpa. Down to Kotuoto. Shot attempt saved by Söderqvist. Torkelson trying to recover, will get it to Blanco. Rovinen coming away with a steal on the far side, but a free hit's going to be awarded to Fresno. 10 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the third. Minnesota still with that 1-goal lead.
It's a great save there by Söderqvist. All reaction. You could tell he didn't really see the ball coming in on the shot, but he was able to punch his hand out and get the ball away.
Neumann coming around to the center wing. The pass to Nilsson. Shot saved by Pasi Arvinen. Over to Björninen on the far side. He'll get the angle around Nyberg. Kotuoto boxing them out. Shot attempt wide off the backboards. Shipped to the backboards by Solander, where Kim Nyberg waiting to recover here for Fresno. Solander, the pass behind himself. Nilsson working with Nyberg. He'll go down the line to Solander. Facing double-team defense there. He'll roll it around the backboards over to Nilsson, behind the Minnesota goal. He'll pass it back down to midcourt to Nyberg, over to Neumann. Going deep cross-court, Edvin Nilsson. Too deep to make a shot attempt happen. The pass chipped up by Auroila, taken back by Nyberg. But Nilsson already anticipating the offensive drive, wasn't waiting there for it. Tuukka Hiltunen now coming down the line for the Growlers. Pass it back to Jiipa Auroila. Minnesota going to look to restart their offense and slow down the pace.
Minnesota wants to try to draw as much time as possible off of that clock. Every second that goes down, the more desperate Fresno becomes, and that is when you are susceptible to making mistakes.
And Blanco here pressing up tightly. Speaking of more desperate play, he'll nearly be able to get a steal here from Vanjonpa. He might come away with it. He'll get it to Torkelson. The full court press paying off so far for the Fresno Force. Torkelson. Pass sails wide, but it's kicked off the foot there of Kotuoto. Nearly a shot opportunity for Fresno.
Dangerous play there by Minnesota, but they're lucky to get out of it. Fresno unlucky to come out of it without a goal.
Now with less than 9 minutes left on the clock, Minnesota with the ball. Auroila, the pass to Santiletto. Solander creeping up. They'll have Frafjord in tandem. Deep pass down to Ilmari Lettinen. Able to box out Nilsson. Free hits awarded here to the Growlers as Ilmari Lettinen goes to the ground.
Ilmari Lettinen always using his body so well, boxing out the defender, getting to the ball first, and creating the play that he wants to make.
And now Lettinen with 20 assists, 15 goals on the season. Certainly a team player, certainly a skilled player, and it plays into that offensive strategy that we've seen the entire time here. Just as now he's waiting towards the crease. He gets a pass off. This time it's intercepted by Neumann. Over to Solander, cross court. Over to Nilsson, shot attempt wide right. Neumann missing the chip attempt in. Another one sailing far right. Santiletto sending it down to midcourt to recover.
That one so close, just missing the net there. Net came off a little bit, but went wide anyway.
Now Björninen driving down. Shot goes on the outside of the goal. Kim Nyberg over to Neumann. 8 minutes remaining in the third period.
Another almost highlight there by Bjorninen. He is so close and looking to get on the board today.
And certainly this match has been a game of chances. Both teams with a lot of shots on goal, 16 for the Growlers, 21 for the Force. There's been no shortage of offensive opportunities. It's been the saving grace of the defenses so far that have kept this game so low scoring. Walsh, the pass on the close wing to Amdahl. Shipped there by Rangela. Out to Walsh, advantage granted to Fresno. Blanco looking for an opportunity. They'll try to weave around Bjorninen. Over to Castellanos. Bjorninen coming away with the steal through the legs of Walsh, driving down the shot wide right. Out of bounds. It'll be a Fresno Force hit-in.
Bjorninen had Rantala there with him, but the defender leaned over for the pass, so he decided to take the shot. It was very close, and he is a player that has the green light, certainly, from his coach to take that shot.
Now Nyberg working with Nilsson in the Fresno backcourt. 7 minutes remaining in the third period. Still a one-goal game here. Solander coming around center lane, looking to Neumann, unable to get the shot attempt off. Rangela taking it down now for the Growlers. Shift from behind by Neumann. Kotorwolto coming away with it. Shot attempt off the body of Frafjord. Neumann driving down. He'll miss the ball for the first shot attempt. Spinning around, will pass out to Solon. Over to Frafjord. Nilsson unable to complete the chip attempt from inside the crease there. Still taking it behind the goal. Pass to Frafjord. Out to Solander. Down to Neumann. Goes off the legs of Vanjonpa. Sancholetto recovering there for Minnesota. Sent down the boards into Fresno territory.
Fresno, no shortage of creative plays on that chance. Setting up just about everything you can imagine and just so close, but not able to finish on that one.
Nilsson now down to Nyberg. Back out to Nilsson. Working that far lane passing. They're certainly putting pressure here on Minnesota, putting them on their heels. Looks more like a power play defense than anything here from the Growlers. Neumann losing control. Bjorninen coming away with the steal, driving down. He has the angle on Nilsson. The shot saved by Theodor Söderqvist.
Great save there by Söderqvist. Bjorninen once again creating a chance for himself. Just couldn't get enough lift on that ball. Söderqvist slides out, covers the whole bottom of the net, and that's all he had to do to make that save.
Walsh now goes to Blanco, looking to recover there, staying alive by inches for Fresno. Shot attempt saved by Arvinen, but Torkelson puts it in. The Fresno Force, the team of the second chance goals, showing why there, with Torkelson putting it in the net.
Minnesota a little bit too focused on that first shot, didn't think about the rebound, and Fresno is there to strike, come in through the middle and bury the rebound. We have a ball game here in Fort Worth, Texas.
It's back to a tie now with 5 minutes, 27 seconds remaining in the third period. Your score, Minnesota 4, Fresno 4. Certainly this game getting more and more interesting. The rebound shot, often one of the biggest strong suits of the Fresno Force offense. It shows their ball handling ability and IQ on the court. Great vision by Fresno. Now play getting ready to resume. Now some discussion there with the referees. Fresno talking with referee Sean Eden.
Looks like Minnesota called a timeout and Fresno didn't quite get the message there.
Now the 30-second timeout beginning here for the Minnesota Growlers. Certainly going to be important for them to discuss strategy. Is Fresno coming back, making it a tie game here in the third.
Assistant number 4, Adrian Amdahl. Time of the goal, 14:33.
Now, as we get to these final minutes of the game, this is where you put out your top line. You decide maybe 2 or 3 other guys that'll make subs, but really you want your first line out there as much as possible. Minnesota has had no trouble doing that this game and really all season. They've been running a lot and they've been out there as long as they can. It'll be interesting to see how Fresno plays this, because they have very, very talented 2 lines, pretty evenly distributed. So we'll see what they do with this.
Certainly shortening the bench. A risky call, but a common call in a situation like this in such a tight ball game. But as you mentioned, Case, stamina, always a precious commodity for both teams here. Recovery on the faceoff by Minnesota. Hiltonen passing back to Santiletto. Go over to Emily Biernen, far side, back to Santiletto. Auroila, cross court to Biernen. Santiletto now. Coming up the center lane. They'll pass down off the boards looking for Lehtinen. Nilsson getting in there with a lot of aggressive physical defense. The ball taken by Nyberg. Nilsson now, cross court, over to Neumann. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the third period. A reminder that the winner of this semifinal match will advance tomorrow to play against the Florida Vikings in the Troy Cup final for the 2023 season at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Still live from North Richland Hills, Texas at the NITEX Sports Center. And Nilsson's pass intercepted there by Jipa Auroila, but Fresno keeping up the pressure. The ball chipped there to Pasi Arvinen. They'll recover and send it to Santiletto.
This is where every single action has to be carefully thought out. You cannot afford to make a mistake in these moments. But at the same time, this is the most fun you can have on the field. These are the games that you remember and that you enjoy the most.
Now Neumann driving down, trying to make it one to remember. Frafjord missing the shot attempt there. We go to Solander. Shot goes off the body of Hiltonens. And it's Frafjord losing a stick there as Bjernen takes the ball for Minnesota. Auroila on the close wing. Second line coming out here for the Fresno Force. Etuvanyonpa back to Auroila, deflected by Blanco. Driving down, shot attempt. It's saved off the stick of Vanyonpa, but it'll still be a Fresno Force hit in the far corner.
Max Blanco is not the player that you want to give that ball up to for a counterattack.
Now Blanco taking it off the hit there, supported by Castellanos. He'll come down to Amdahl. Shot through to the crease, deflected by Auroila. Rene Corruoto passing it to the far side. Rovinen back to Corruoto. Will lose control. The ball sailing behind him. Advantage granted to Fresno. Walsh to Torkelson. Back out at the point to Amdahl.
Taylor Walsh has a brother, Tristan Walsh, who originally signed to play with Fresno last season, couldn't make it this season, but they are both a dynamic duo for the Canadian national team.
Yes, and of course, Canadian floorball has a long history with the Fresno Force here in the league, especially supported by Matt Smith, Taylor Walsh, Thomas Kortmach, Justin Knight, and more that come out and make big plays here for the Fresno team. Certainly a staple of North American floorball. Nilsson, the pass to Nyberg now. Less than 3 minutes left on the clock. Still a tie ball game here. Nyberg at the point, far side to Neumann. Looking in, deflected off the body of Auroila. Fresno looking for a call there. They won't find one here. Nyberg to Nilsson. Shot attempt off the leg of Pasi Arvinen. Going to the far boards. Frafjord trying to get an angle. Free hit awarded to Minnesota.
That was an excellent save there by Pasi Arvinen. Takes out his leg, gets a little bit of elevation as well. Extremely difficult to do, but he's a very talented goaltender and very hard to score on. That's why they've only gotten 4 on him this entire game. They're gonna have to work extra hard to get another.
Emily Bjernen now on the far side, looking to return the favor after that Fresno drive. Etuvanyonpa, pass out to Santiletto. Solander coming up for the press now. Going the center. Hiltonen losing control. Now Santiletto, the last resort. Solander takes it, but it's called back before the goal for a high stick call. And a scuffle breaking out there on the far side between Solander, Bjernen, and Santiletto. Referee Sean Eden discussing there with Santiletto, trying to call it off and calm him down.
Cannot afford to take a penalty at this point for something like arguing with a ref. You have to keep your cool even in the heat of the moment. Very difficult to do, especially as close of a game as this is. Players are very passionate.
And after that high stick call, called back of Fresno goal, Minnesota with possession, taking it slow. 1.5 minutes left on the clock. Nearly chipped in by Elamari Lehtinen. Just saved by Theodor Suderquist. Kim Nyberg. Now getting it to Max Blanco in the center lane. Over to Neumann. Coming into the center lane, will go to Blanco. Down to Walsh. 1:15 left on the clock. Still a tie ball game here, coming towards the end of the third. Walsh comes down to Amdahl. Going across, Blanco shot wide, out of bounds.
Fresno creating some good chances there. Trying to possess it for a while. They had the opening, and so they struck and went for the attack. But both teams want to slow this game down and control the offense for the rest of it and try to get that one golden goal that can change it all.
45 seconds left on the clock. At this point, every second spent in the backcourt biding their time on offense is a vote of confidence for Minnesota in their offense, their ability to keep it away from a tie game, to get that crucial goal before time expires. Still staying in the backcourt now, 30 seconds left. Bjernanen going to start to drive. Looking over, Hiltonen shot goes off the body of Torkelson. Bjernanen losing control. Torkelson chipping it out to the boards, driving down the line. Chipped out of bounds, 17 seconds on the clock, and it's a Fresno 4 sit-in.
Have time for one or two more chances, but the last thing they want to do is give up the ball, so they're going to look to play conservative, it seems.
15 seconds left. Kim Nyberg in his own territory. 10 seconds now. Frafjord to Nilsson. It's good. The crowd going wild. Edvin Nilsson, the golden goal.
And there it is, the team swarming him. That is what they wanted. Setting up the exact play they wanted, and that's how they did it. They found their open man, and he buried the shot. Critical goal in this game. We don't want to say too much because there is still 7 seconds, and this Minnesota offense is very, very good, but that could be the game winner there.
Certainly an exciting way to come and try and close out the third period. This has been an incredibly intense and incredibly tight-knit matchup here in the semifinal between the second seed Growlers and the third seed Force. And now with 7 seconds left in the match, Fresno on top. Your score, Growlers 4, Force 5. For the face-off, it'll be Yipao Roila against Alex Neumann. Recovery by Fresno. Trying to get the open net goal there, going to the boards. As time expires, the Fresno Force are going to the Troy Cup Finals. What a match. Your final score here, live from North Richland Hills, Texas. It's Minnesota Growlers 4, Fresno Force 5 for a team that went 1-11 last season. What a redemption arc to now be heading to the finals. They'll play against the Florida Vikings. It's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. What a game. Neither team can be disappointed in their performance. They left it all on the court. Yipao Roila staying out there contemplating the loss. Floorball fans, stay tuned on this broadcast as we'll be bringing you the man of the match announcement, and of course after that we'll be bringing you another exclusive NAFL player interview. And that's number 96, Emily Biernanen, and number 90, Edvin Nilsson, earning man of the match honors here after that incredible semifinal matchup that's sending Fresno to the finals. Of course, stay tuned for another exclusive NAFL post-game interview. Well, floorball fans of the North American Floorball League, we've just concluded our semifinals with an incredible win by the Fresno Force over the Minnesota Growlers. I'm joined by the man of the hour, number 90, Edvin Nilsson. You've just scored the game-winning shot for the Force. How do you feel?
Yeah, there's no feeling like it. To score the game winner, it's unbelievable. With this team, with these guys, couldn't be prouder.
Now, as you got ready to take the shot, tell us what was going through your head. Obviously, a close game, a lot of back and forth, and it seemed like it was going to overtime.
Not much. When the ball came to me by Fred, it was no thoughts, just smack it in there.
And now, obviously, you're heading to the Troy Cup Finals tomorrow, playing against the Florida Vikings. What are you planning on doing now to prepare for that matchup? What is your team planning on doing?
Keep your heads high, and we have played close to them 2 games in a row. So just keep on fighting, keep grinding, keep it balls deep, and yeah.
Very well. Edvin, a big congratulations on the win. Yes.
Smitty, this one's for you. Tell me why.
Well, floorball fans, what a way to end our first day of playoff action here in the 2023 Troy Cup playoffs. Don't worry. There's one more North American Floorball League matchup coming to you live at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow when the Florida Vikings battle the Fresno Force for the Troy Cup, for the bragging rights, for the glory. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, I've been your host, Tanner David.